Have you ever been blindfolded and you've had to trust your friend's instructions and follow them as they kind of lead you? You know, it can be scary when you go through those difficult situations and you aren't sure what's going to happen. You aren't sure if you can really trust those people to do what's right by you. You have to follow their voice and you have to trust that they have your best interests at heart. That's kind of where the Israelites were. You see, the Israelites had been in slavery in Egypt, and God had freed them from slavery, freed them from the control of the Egyptians, and God had formed them to be his own nation. These guys would be the people who lived the way that God wanted them to live. He gave them these new rules to live by. The first rule was that they wouldn't worship any other gods. They would only worship the one true God. You see, the Egyptians, they'd worship many false gods. They had all of these idols and figures and gods that they'd created that they worshipped. But God wanted Israel, his people, to be different. Moses was their leader, and he had brought them out. And the Bible tells us this time when they're camping at the bottom of the mountain, and Moses goes up to be with God, to spend time with God, to get God's instructions. And he's there for 40 days. The Bible says that while he was on the mountain, there was a dense cloud and a fire that surrounded it. You see, God's people had lost their confidence. They were worried now that maybe Moses wasn't enough. Maybe God wasn't on their side. Maybe he wasn't enough for them. They did exactly what God had commanded them not to do. They gathered up all of their jewelry. They melted it down and they formed it into the image of a calf that they could worship. They didn't trust God to be enough. God had brought them out of Egypt. He'd parted the Red Sea. He provided food and water for them and everything they needed. And yet they treated God as if he wasn't enough. I don't know about you and me, but we are often acting like the Israelites. We often treat God as if he's not enough. We desire other things to fill our life. We turn to other things to find our confidence, just like the Israelites did. But we need to learn that we can trust God and know that God is enough.